Little update. I'm sort of starting on part 5 of The Mirror and the Light by Hilary Mantel, and there's this whole thing of, um, England is going to become a castle, a fortified castle, where basically all the stops are off for the rest of Christendom, for the Roman Catholic part. It's like that you don't have to respect English contracts with Englishmen. They're basically all subject to arrest. They're basically, it's like if you're not in the church, you're not a person that we actually have to obey the laws with. Which you think, oh, that's terrible. And then you think, oh, and this is exactly the kind of thinking that was used for when they came to the New World, in quotation marks, and how they treated all the people over here. It's like, well, you're not Christians, so you're not really people, and we don't really have to treat you respecting our own laws, our own persons. And I mean, you see that even today of how we treat our own citizens within our individual countries. But then somehow a lot of those laws get turned off when it comes to people from foreign countries. It's like it's a different set of standards. There's still very much that division. So it gives you an idea of sort of how profound of a split all the stuff that's happening with Henry VIII and his split from the Roman Catholic Church. And just the Reformation in general, how profound this was, as they started to view themselves as not people, that we actually have to conduct ourselves with the restraints of whatever laws and mores that we have. But it's also sort of a reminder of, and that's kind of the rules that get used still to this day for it, in a sense, that we don't, when somebody is not, they're not our group, whether that's religion or race or whatever, they're not us. Therefore, we don't have to actually treat them with the same amount of respect that we would, because for some, like if you get something like religion, it's like, well, if you don't follow my religion, then I don't have to respect you, which is, it's that brutalness, which Mantel's really good at portraying that on both sides of this equation. This isn't like one side is good and one side is bad. It's like, no, there's two sides, and they both treat each other like shit. And that it's a schism within a church that purports to follow someone like Christ and his teachings, that we're going to then say, well, if you don't follow our particular brand of it, we're going to hunt you down, we're going to burn you for not believing what we believe, is just it's quite terrible. But you kind of have to think about it in your own life, of when you look out at other people, do you see your fellow human beings, or do you see others? Do you see, I mean, speaking in the middle of a disease of the coronavirus pandemic, do you see disease vectors rather than people? I mean, it's not something I think that any of us can get away from, whether that is, it's a part of human nature that we all constantly battle with every single day. And this isn't just, oh, I'm looking back on people in history and looking down my nose at them. It's like, no, I'm sure if I was, well, my ancestors were English and Scottish, and they would very much have fallen into one of these camps and would have burned the others. It's that kind of brutal group dynamic really has this powerful effect that unless you've been swept up in it, which at times in my life I have been swept up in. I haven't burned anybody, but there's been things where I've been very passionately one side and other. And I mean, we're in an era at the moment which is a sort of a right-left kind of divide or something like that, and it's us or them. We believe one thing and they believe another thing. It's like, that doesn't mean that they're not still people who have their own intelligence and own thoughts and beliefs. It's just different. I guess it's that overlap where, how do we get along in a society and move forward as a democracy where we don't all believe the same thing. I mean, I guess maybe in some ways we get along very messily and we argue with each other, and that's good. That's good. But yeah, So that's my thoughts on this little bit of Mantell, Mirror and the Light at the moment. Ciao.